All right, welcome here to the DX Radio Shop. So, I just want to point out a couple things here for a moment. You know, when somebody has a hard on for somebody else, they find ways to really point some stuff out to try to get the story turned around the table. So sad to see people do that. It really is. This is what happens when you're dishonest and you live off the system, I guess. That's what people are used to. So, having said that, this radio belonged to a customer. I fixed for him. Brand new display. He fried it. Brand new display. That was over $300 for the damn thing because these are discontinued. Right straight from Ranger. So that was leftover new stock. He had old new stock left over. Or new old stock, however you want to put it, I guess. But anyway, it was brand new. So coils are spread apart. I compress those, and I like how certain people call that, no, you're not supposed to compress them, you're supposed to tune them. Well, in their words, they call it tuning, which is really spreading. And no, you don't spread coils. These are your bandpass filters, guys. You don't touch them. Leave the damn things alone. When you have a brand new car and you got an engine, do you need to get inside that engine and play around? Just start the car and drive it and maintain it. You don't need to get in there and play around. Well, people see this online, and if you mess with the coils, hey, look at that. I can adjust my carrier. I can do this. No, you don't need to do any of this, okay? So, I know it sounds redundant, but you know what? I'm going to say it again over and over and over again, guys. Stop touching coils and stop modifying clarifiers. You don't need to modify clarifiers. They were designed for a reason, for you to adjust the receive on your clarifier control when you're on sideband to get the person tuned in. Well, everyone sees it online today. Well, you can modify and track the transmit side. Why would you do that? Because now you're going to throw it off. And when you do this, you disable your transmit output frequency potentiometer on the board, which means you're never going to be on a frequency, ever. So many technicians will tell you, don't touch the clarifier. They still do it, especially on Ranger 2950s and 70s and 9095s. Oh my God. You have a shift key for a reason. You can go anywhere you want with those radios. Don't touch the clarifiers. I don't know how many of those I've had to fix. So this video is to point out a couple of different facts. One, the guy sent this to me to get fixed. I fixed it, and we compressed the coils, put that back to where it belonged. There was a couple of wires on the clarifier control that need to be soldered nice and pretty because they're a little, I don't know, dull from the factory. I didn't like those. And I seen one jumper in here somebody used to modify for the clarifier. That's all I seen. So that's what we fixed. And that was it. There's no cob job solder on the board. All the SMT components were fine. No burnt stuff on the board. Flux everywhere and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here we go.
200, you got a copy on 123, over.
123, come on back here. 200, back to you, sir.
Hey, Roger, this is Gary. By golly, I can hear you, buddy.
Okay, you hear how he sounds? That's with the clarifier put back to factory spec. The radio's aligned correctly per procedure, okay, of the service manual that I know this guy cannot just get his hands on. I know that for a fact. So, and he's not even a legitimate person to even go out there and do this because you're not going to find this online. You're not going to, okay? You got to get a hold of Ranger yourself to get a hold of them. Then you got to prove credentials to do this too. Believe me, I went through a long process of bullshit on the phone just to show the guy, yeah, hey, I am who I am, and here's my legitimacy. Here's my business name. Here's my DBA number. What else you want? You want my tax ID number? Shit. And got the service manual for this. I don't know why I had to jump through hoops because everybody's got to do that. I've called 3 different shops I knew had the procedure information, and they wouldn't give it out because they had a struggle to get it. And they said, no, we had a struggle, so sorry you got the struggle too. And I had to get a hold right through directly on Ranger to get the service manual. I had the whole complete service manual for this. $55 it cost me for that complete book, and it is very thick. It's well detailed, well put out, well designed book. It's a beautiful deal. Anyways, it was well worth it. So I know for a fact that when someone gets in here and starts doing stupid shit, it's because they see it on Google and they don't take the time to actually get the service manual and understand many things. When you get inside and you start modifying radios, you have to understand the radio and what you're doing. Okay. When you get inside because you see it online that says, oh, cut this and jumper him and get your 8 supply volts and blah, blah, blah. Hey, look at that, man. I modified this. It works great. Da, da, da. Wrong. If you don't know what to do and how things work together as components in a circuit, don't touch it. You're only going to make matters worse. Okay. This radio is fixed with a brand new display that was shorted out. I fixed the display for them. Compressed the coil. Fixed the clarifier. The two leads on the control itself, we fixed. Touch up the solder because I didn't like the way it looked. And then we also removed the jumper that we saw in the front here for the modification that this person had done. So outside of that, nothing else was done to the radio. Besides this display, we found a back cap on the back of that board as well. Everything else is all factory besides the coil. We had to compress those. Anybody who tells you that no, you need to spread these, or what they call is tune them, what they really mean is spreading, because you can't tune them. There's no slug to turn. You got to move them physically, which means you got to spread them apart to get more drive or whatever you want to do. But you're going to change and just screw up everything. Leave these alone. There's a reason why it's designed like this. Leave it alone. Okay. And I would love to see the people who do these modifications and spread coils. I would love to see and hear you argue with the engineers who built these radios, because you're not going to win. Okay. The engineer's going to tell you the same thing. There's a reason why we designed this and why we have so many turns and what the dimensions are. Leave it alone. I cannot say that enough. Goodness gracious. And when you get inexperienced people who do this garbage and then turn around and say, oh, that's from the shop. Oh my God, my soldering is way better than that. I'm one of the best around. Well, if you're such the best around, number one, it's kind of funny how you're going to see in the video, there's no burnt spots, scrape marks, this, that, and the other. No blackness onto the board. And number two, you'd have some equipment, not a crooked oscilloscope, and you would not be using a bird element to slide your meter across as a propping device either. So yeah, let me get down here and see where is that at. During shipping, customer boxed it up. So anyway, she's working good. So I just got the ground strap on. I was checking some voltages on the inside, make sure it's all good. So, but everything's good to go. You take that off. She's doing 2 watt low, 10 watt high, and 44 watts out AM and 43 on sideband. Fix the clarifier circuit, line tune, fix the whole front end. That whole thing had to be torn apart. Fixed it all. Coils are spread. We had compressed those back when they belong. See how? Okay, I'm gonna hit pause. Okay, you guys see anything burnt? You see anything scraped up or burnt? All that flux bullshit? You see any of that garbage by your AF? Well, I don't. AF adjustment modulation right there, and you got the low carrier adjustment. Well, geez, right here's all your deal. Do you see anything down through here? I don't. Huh. Well, where did that come from? Oh, I know exactly where it come from. Got to do all this stuff and make 5 or 6 videos instead of one, because there's other stuff you got to get into to do this, that, and the other. Oh, yeah, I point this out. Oh, I point that. Oh, my God, this tech is bad, blah, 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 blah. Wow. If you have to go all out and you have to sabotage someone else's work to try to get you to the front line, you're not going about the right way to be in business. You're just not. You're sabotaging work. You contradicted yourself several times in your videos. It's funnier than hell to see that kind of shit. And then you turn around and say that these coils need to be tuned. The only way you could tune these coils is if you physically spread them apart and change the dimension of what they are, which you do not ever do. So I think you need to go back and understand what these coils are meant for in the circuit. And I think you need to go back and understand what a clarifier control circuit is designed to do without the modification, okay? Because you just don't do those things, all right? So I wanted to point that out. Also, let's take a looky here and see. So these 3 wires, and there's another one all gobbed up. Well, that's funny because nothing's gobbed up in the pictures in the video that I've got here. And it's funny how these are all kind of gobbed up. That's funny too. Wow. Okay, well, let's see here. Where's me pictures? Okay. So, well, right down here is your crystal. There's your adjustment. And I'm not seeing nothing gobbed up down here. Sorry, my camera was moved. There's your crystal, here's your potentiometer, and here's the circuit down here. I'm not seeing nothing gobbed up. That's funny stuff. Again, right down here, nothing gobbed up and burnt and all marred up and garbage looking. Just wonderful, isn't it, guys? Just wonderful. Look at the clean circuitry. Nothing at all. Nothing at all damaged. Well, I don't see a damn thing here damaged or gummed up anywheres. That's some funny stuff, let me tell you what. But that's okay. I would love to see his response to the video of this same radio. Isn't that something? Very interesting to see the fact that this radio was spot on, no problems whatsoever, gets it in his possession just to play around and point out some garbage. For what reason? To try and make yourself look better, I guess. Well, that's not what I would do. Hell, I'd be reaching out to someone and asking them, say, hey, can you show me, this, that, and the other, and teach me, and blah, 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 and I want to learn. That's what you do. So here was before I had fixed the radios. This right here, you can see how they're spread apart a little bit and spread apart here a little bit. And this one is spread apart from forward to backwards. You don't do this. You change everything when you do that, okay? So these are all compressed back together, as you can see in the video. Let me get back out of this mess here. Where's the video? Here we go. There's the video, okay? So right here's the video, all nice and neat and tidy, beautiful looking, pretty, the way they belong in circuit, okay? That's what you're supposed to have, okay?
Torn apart, fixed it all. Coils are
Speed
they
this
should
up.
be. They should never be spread apart. Ever. Anybody does that, slap them. They should not be inside the radio.
So there you have it, guys. Nice and neat, nice and tidy, no burnt marks, none of that garbage. I never, in the 37 plus years in business, ever sabotage someone else's work to claim it or to discredit or to take and turn around and say, oh yeah, you should send it here because this is what's wrong. Never have I ever done that to anyone's equipment, and I won't, because it's very dishonest, okay? My shop, I am very strict, I'm very honest, straightforward. You can sit right here like a bird on a perch and sit on my shoulder with a notepad and a video camera, and we'll go through this mess together. And I tell you right now, the many thousands and thousands of customers I've had in the last 37 plus years, and all the new ones I get on a day-to-day basis, love my videos, love my wealth of knowledge. I am not, and I'll be the first to tell you, I am not by any means the best. No. Okay? Many technicians around that are a lot better than I am, a lot older than I am, but I will tell you this much, I learned from one of the best, and I'm very happy and thankful and grateful that the guy took me under his wing and taught me what he knew and explained everything to me in theory, because if he did not, then I would be just like the rest of these chop shops that do this garbage right here. And that will never happen, because it would be a disgrace to the guy who was a legend on radios, excellent technician for many, 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 many years when CBs first came out. And that would be a disgrace to him, because it's not what he stood for. And I'm glad I learned from him, because I don't want to be some jockey out there doing stupid shit, cobbing up someone's radio, causing problems, and doing all these modifications, because it's not the way you do business. It's not how you work on radios. And he explained that to me over and over and over again, to the day he finally retired all this stuff. And he said, Stu, there's one thing you have to learn. You gotta understand how a radio works, and the fact of these engineers designed and built a radio for a reason. If they wanted everything else to be modified, they would have modified it before they shipped it out to distributors to put it on the shelf for sale. I said, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. He said, well, of course it does, because if these were meant to be, then it would have already been done. So I said, okay, so kind of like having an old Ford Tempo versus a Mustang. Well, if you want more speed and more prettiness, then guess what? That's when you go and you buy her something bigger and better, right? So, you know, if you have a little Cobra radio and you want something that's got more beefness, more beefy power or frequencies or what have you, then go out and buy a Ranger, buy a Striker, buy a Connex, buy a Galaxy. You know, buy something that has the application, the features you're looking for, and they're already designed for you. So you don't need to make all these modifications, guys. You don't. Just because Google says you can and they got it out there doesn't mean you have to do it. That's what I'm trying to get across to everybody. So when you have people who constantly get inside radios, spread coils, and every single sideband radio they touch, they modify the clarifier, and the statement was, somebody questioned this gentleman and said, why do you modify clarifiers? You're going to ruin the circuit and you can never get a spot on frequency again. And whoever's modified, if yours is modified, you know, let's say radio A is modified and radio B is modified, well, the two of you can kind of do what you got to do. But if radio C is not modified, well, radio C is not going to be spot on with radio A and radio B. Okay, so when you make this comment about, well, you don't believe in that mythology about clarifiers, that you feel it actually improves the radio by modifying them, that is very incorrect. Okay, it's only because the information is out there to do these mods. If the information was never available, you wouldn't know, which means nobody would modify them because you wouldn't know, and nobody would have to worry about anybody being off frequency unless you actually misadjust or misaligned your offset frequencies in the PLL circuit. So, because nobody follows procedure and nobody follows the information on what to do, they just get inside and do this, that, and the other without service manuals or information on what the alignment is, where the test points are, what your voltages are supposed to be, what your readings are supposed to be on your scope, what your frequencies should be, all that information. You got to have everything at hand. If you're going to get inside of a radio and you don't have the information at hand, I would not want you touching my radio, because especially when people doing zero beats. Oh my God. I had one here just today, actually. The guy did a zero beat on and he swore up and down. It was like spot on. And he said, I only did this because I've seen a couple of videos and I wanted to prove a point and to see if they were really good. And boy, I tell you, that's like spot on. I said, man, I can hear people. I said, okay, cool. Did you put it on a frequency counter? No. Okay. Can you bring it over? Sure can. He only lives a few miles away from here. And I was just talking to a friend of mine about this over the weekend on the same topic too. But anyways, this guy who lives very close to me, he brought it over. We put it on the frequency counter. Guess what? He was 68 hertz off frequency. Now that doesn't seem much, right? Who cares, right? But the point is, when they say they're doing zero beat and it sounds spot on and you're barely wiggling the clarifier on your radio and da-da-da-da, get a frequency counter, because your hearing is different than 10 more people down the road. Okay? Sure, you can get it very close. I'm sure you can. But put it on a frequency counter and see how close you actually became when you do your zero beat. And I guarantee you, it's not going to be spot on or that close within your 20 hertz of spec. You're going to be at least 60 plus hertz off frequency. That guy was 68 hertz off frequency. There you have it, guys. I mean, do what you want to do, say what you want to say, whatever. Don't listen to me. Do your own research. I'm just trying to give friendly advice, but it seems like when I give friendly advice, it seems like people get off their high horse and they want a big argument, fight, and whatever. I don't know. Too many diapers are full of shit these days, I guess. But the point is this. if you're going to bash somebody, then have real evidence, okay? Don't go and do this kind of garbage to discredit a shop, knowing that shop does not do this at all. That's just so sad to see people go out of their way like this. It really is. And the fact of the matter is, when you have people get inside of radios and mess things around, like right here, okay, this is your frequency output. And let me see if I can get a broader view here for you. Okay, so this is your alignment procedure. This is your 10.695 procedure, okay? If you don't align that on a frequency correctly, let's say you have this perfectly aligned. Let's just say you've got that spot on perfect. Cool. Okay, I'm happy for you. Awesome job. You know, pat yourself in the back. Cool, right? Let's move on. Now, the clarifier has been modified and you got these all good to go. This guy right here will no longer function because you have to disable that. If you disable this, this is your final output frequency adjustment, your transmit frequency, okay? If that is not enabled, if this is disabled, it will not function. If you have this enabled to function, now you can put the radio spot on frequency, okay? But you'll never be able to do that with this control if you modify the clarifier. This means absolutely nothing, okay, if this is not functioning in circuit with it. I can have all this spot on, but when I go to transmit and see my final output frequency on a frequency counter, on a good frequency counter, you're never going to be spot on because this was disabled due to the modification, okay? So this radio was put back to factory, okay? That was it. And this now was 100% working order the way it should be. And these are all aligned, and that radio was spot on frequency. I couldn't even get anybody aligned on my clarifier control in this radio when it first came in, after I got the display fixed first, and then see what the radio was doing or not doing. I tried it out. I couldn't get nobody spot on. I had to turn the clarifier damn near close, 9:30 on the dial. Guys, with the clarifier at 12 o'clock center, you should never have to drop that thing below 11 o'clock on the left, and you should never have to drop it at the very highest point, no more than 1 on the right, okay? So if you're at center, you should be able to wiggle that clarifier just a little bit to the left or to the right to get somebody in, provided they're aligned and tuned correctly. If everybody has that done correctly, then everyone's going to be good, everyone's going to be happy, everyone's going to be spot on. If you got to turn your clarifier more than just a little bit, 12 o'clock is center. If we go to the left, okay, you're getting down, let's say like 11:45, 11:30, 11:50, whatever you want to call it, right? When you got to turn that more to the left to get somebody dialed in, something's wrong. Whether it be your station or someone else's station or whatever the case is, I have seen where you've had to chase people around on a clarifier. And every time I get somebody tuned in, they got to redial it to get me tuned in, and then I got to redial it to get them back in, and you're chasing back and forth because one radio is modified, and the other one, whether it was modified or not modified by somebody else, they're not done the same. Okay? So when you have a circuit, guys, with sideband, don't modify the clarifier. Leave it alone. The clarifier was designed for simple use, to adjust the receive on sideband to get them to sound clear. That is it. Leave it alone. If you have to use this to track on your transmit, stop and think for a minute. Was the radio working perfectly fine from the engineer, from the manufacturer? Was it working perfectly fine? It's got to go through QA, right? They got to pass. It's got to work. So if it's working perfectly fine on the transmit side without modifying the clarifier, then why would you disrupt that? Why would you take and modify your clarifier? For what reason? Because you want the track on transmit? For what reason? If your transmit's functioning, leave it alone. That's not what the clarifier was designed for. It was designed for the receive side. Why are you guys modifying the clarifiers? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Anyways, that's my rant for the evening here. I wanted to take and just do a quick video to show that there was no cob job messes in this here radio at all. You can see no burnt marks, no this, no that, nice and clean, all down through here. No garbage whatsoever. in that area, and yet, but you've got all this that's pretty obvious and scratched up and whatnot here, and the cob job garbage there as well. Well, it's kind of funny because this is not happening right down here, because right there's your AM power. It says right here AM power, and then your modulation. Funny how there's no Burt Marson soldered gobs down here. I don't see none of that garbage. Wow. So again, thank you for the sabotage. I appreciate that. And I just wanted to point out the fact that here's a video. So I'd like to see how that video was also flat topping, how it was pinched, and how he's still calling it half a division now instead of his 4 division, or whatever you want to call it, or 1 divisions. Never heard of a 1 division on a scope, or a half a division. When you have a carrier, it's quite simple, real simple to understand. You're going to have your negative and you're going to have your positive. And when you have 2 blocks, that's 2 division. If you got 4 blocks, it's 4 division. We went over this again. But the point is that this radio was fixed, was working good when I got done with it. And new display, everything else taken care of, line to them correctly and whatnot. The biggest issue was the display and the fact that the coils are spread and the fact that the clarifier was modified. And again, we only resoldered the 2 wires on the control. They were kind of dull looking. I didn't like from the factory. So if I don't like it, I'm going to clean it up. And that was nice and professional. And then, of course, they had 1 jumper down below. And we took care of that matter, pulled it out, put it back to where it belonged. And everything fell right into place. And as you heard, the guy on here was, let me go back to the beginning so you can hear him again.
200, you got a copy on 123, over.
123, come on back here. 200, back to you, sir.
Hey, Roger, this is Gary. By golly, I can hear you, buddy.
So he sounds pretty clear to me. That's pretty nice when the clarifier is set center, isn't it? How about that? And if this was way off frequency, then you'd hear it right now on this video. So I would like to see a video of the very same radio, but unfortunately, because it was already tampered with, the controls were already touched, and I guess maybe I should have worked on this on the floor, because maybe that's better to get your tuning aspects done than it is on a benchtop. I don't know. That was brought to my attention too, why someone would put radio base stations on a floor. Someone else spent 4 hours replacing capacitors on a base station, not this one per se, but on a base station. The most inexperienced person to replace capacitors, if you're going to recap a radio, let's say I don't know, 2950 or well, it was a base station. Let's say a Galaxy 2547 or even like a 2990 or a 142 or a Cobra 2000 GTL. The most inexperienced person shouldn't take more than probably an hour and a half, maybe 2. If you're really struggling and you really don't know what you're doing your first time, I can see maybe 2, not 4 hours. I don't understand that. I mean, goodness gracious. Hell, when I was very young and started, I remember taking capacitors off and replacing them one by one just to try to rebuild my first radio that I had. And I bought from a yard sale that I knew it was not working. And that was my first experiment to try. When I met up with this technician, he told me, go through and recap the radio and start learning with that. And then when you come back, we're going to put you at the bench and we're going to start teaching you. And so he did. And I can't even tell you how many filing cabinets are full of notes I still have to this day of information that guy was a wealth of knowledge. Man, oh man, I wish he was still here today. God rest his soul. Going on 8 years, he's passed away. But excellent technician. Anyway, so the point is, hell, when I started way back then, my very first radio, shit, I was just a damn kid. And I had that whole damn radio done in less than 2 hours. So, I mean, hell, and that was a Cobra 142 GTL. It was my first sideband radio. So, whatever. Everybody each to your own. I mean, everyone's going to take different paces. And that's cool. I don't care. It's not about how fast you are. I was not trying to be fast with it at all. I just putzing right along until I got it done. Because I really wanted to learn. So here I am 37 years later. And all I can say is thank you to Mr. John, who had taught me all those many years up till, let's say, going on 8 years since he's passed away due to health issues. But an amazing technician. And let me tell you something about this guy. There's many great technicians all across the world that I've met. And many of them I'm great friends with. And after getting to the level that I am today, I have actually opened up 7 CB shops for other people, helping them get their shops where they need to be. And they do it awesome. They are not affiliated with me. Nothing's tied into my shop, but I help 7 of them get things going. Can't even tell you how many hours between live video chats to pictures to descriptions over the phone, sending information to them. Some of them sending radios here, and then I would help troubleshoot them over the phone. Okay, here's what's going on with it. And then I send it back so they can repair it. I tell them what's wrong with it. I'm the kind of guy that's going to do that for you. I'm not the guy who's going to stand there and say, oh, I can't. No. I only know this because I cracked the code or some bullshit thing. It's like, that's not a technician. Technicians should always be able to share their wealth of knowledge. Under no circumstance should you ever hold that to yourself. This guy, John, who was a very good technician, well known, let me tell you what, when he stopped doing radios, because due to his health, he was kind of bound to a wheelchair. He couldn't go very far, couldn't do much. So for those reasons, he got away from the radio stuff. He got into GPSs. Nobody, and I'm going to emphasize on that, okay? Nobody, not one person, told him anything about GPSs, okay? The technical aspect of GPS. Anybody knows how to do a GPS. You buy one, you plug it in, blah, 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 whatever, right? This guy was dealing with Motorola GPSs. He loved Motorola. He didn't care much for the rest of them. He played with Garmin's too, but he was more of a Motorola guy. So he found glitches in the software by just studying with his own and troubleshooting his own. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was just playing around because of his background for many years of electronics. That's all he ever did. And so he got involved with the GPSs. For a while, just play around with this, see what happens. And he only wanted to do it just for a little side thing. Well, when he's getting retirement, blah, 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 disability, just want to have a little extra cash on the side, a little part-time gig. That's cool. And I thought it was pretty cool that he got into something different. It wasn't 4 months later since he started with the Motorola GPSs that, because of what he had found of different areas of the software, different glitches and mistakes and problems, he reached out to their technicians and explained to them, here's what's going on. Are you guys having any issues with this? Because I'm having problems with several different models, and here's what I found to fix the problem. Now, how he got into all that stuff, I don't know, but he got right into the depth of it where he understood a lot more inside that software issue. And when he brought it to their attention, they didn't have any solution. They've never realized of these glitches. So they thanked him for it. And within a couple months past that point, they were calling him, asking if he wanted to help with any kind of issue with this, if they can have customers mail it to his area who lived closer to him instead of having them mail it across the country or wherever else to get things checked out. And they would furnish him whatever information he needed on top. And he thought about it. Okay, yeah, I can do that for a little while. Next thing I know, the guy had on average 55 to 60 Motorola GPSs shipped to his house every damn week. And he was fixing these things. Never left his home. Didn't have to go work for a firm or a company. Didn't have to badge in somewhere and go play tech support. He was helping them out from his home. That's how much of a genius this guy was. Also, his friend, who was more into the tube stuff, his name was also John. Great guy. This guy here actually had an award, and he was recognized through FCC for building the very first 50-watt HF amplifier way back, way back. And so he did, I'm sorry, not HF, I said that wrong. I stand corrected, not HF, VHF, I'm sorry. It was a 50-watt VHF solid-state amplifier he did for the 2-meter band. And he was recognized for that. He had an award, all that good stuff too. Anyhow, long story short is, great technicians, great wealth of knowledge, and thank you for them to help out, more so the one with the solid state, which was John, who I just described. Both of them were friends, both Johns. The one with the tube guy, that's all he liked to do was tube. He wasn't much of a solid state, but he played a little bit with solid state, even though he did a great job building the first solid state VHF 50-watt amplifier. However, and that was the size of a cigarette pack. He made one very tiny. Anyways, besides that, he used to throw away CB radios that he would pick up at a yard sale or whatever. And if he couldn't figure it out, he just tossed them in the trash can. He had like a big bin. Well, the John who taught me, who was all about solid state, used to go over there and visit all the time. I was like, God, you got a whole bin full of radios. What are you doing with these things? Junk. He would take them home, 80%, 90%, he'd have fixed. He'd just keep plugging away and plugging away and plugging away, and stuck his nose right inside the book, understanding truth chart, binaries, everything he needed to do to understand what was going on in the PLL system, the VCO circuit, balance modulators, everything that you can even imagine, encoders. He went through it all. Your average technician today does not know that stuff. All they know is peak, tweak, tune, and cut this, and spread you, and blah, 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 blah. And that is not what you do. No such thing as peak, tweak, and tune. It's called align and tune. If you read through procedures, you don't have to listen to me, guys. I've shown many videos where it shows in the books, okay? Alignment procedure. When you're done with the alignment, then you tune the radio on the transmit side and the receive side, and then you set your references for your meter reads and this, that, and the other, okay? It's called alignment and tune. If you hear anybody say peak and tweak, do not go to them. Ask them, do you guys, what is your procedure? Do you guys spread coils? Do you guys cut limiters? Blah, blah, blah. Do you modify clarifiers? If they say yes, don't go to them. If you want to, that's your choice. But I promise you, that radio is going to be off frequency. It's not going to work good. You're going to have a splitter box, and it is what it is. So you don't have to send your stuff here. I'm just trying to help everybody understand how this stuff works, okay? So anyways, just want to do a video. It's late on a Thursday night, and I figured, well, shop's already closed down for the night anyways. I got a couple hours to kill before bed, so I want to do a nice little video to point out some facts and some stuff that was brought to my attention as well. So anyhow, that's what I wanted to say. And also, not to get too much involved with some other stuff here, but the guy who owns this radio that I fixed, he also created a mess on his payment, which took me 90 days to get my payment back, because he canceled the payment because of the fact that he didn't see the tracking number due to his incompetence and laziness, when the tracking number was done not only by text, by voicemail, by email, also on the PayPal transaction. And he said, okay, I'll look at it later. Hours later, he didn't bother to go look, but then he turns around and cancels payment on the damn radio. So it took me 90 days to argue with this guy to finally get his bank to make the payment while he kept his radio. And I was the fourth person he did this to while we were on the phone together on his three-way call with the bank institution, trying to figure out how the hell they're going to take and reverse this and do a chargeback so I get paid for the work I've done on this radio. But now that the radio was sent somewhere else, now the radio is no longer under warranty here, because due to the fact of the cob job mess that this guy did. That's just amazing. So again, I'd like to see video of that radio. Well, we already got the video here, but I'd like to see the video of the radio before this guy got inside and did all this other crap, because it's funny how he does multiple videos of a radio. Hell, guys, I'm going on 38, almost 39 minutes right now. This is one video, okay? And I've hit different topics on this video. So I'm not understanding why he has to do multiple videos and then get on and say, oh, I made a mistake. Hang on, I got to show that. Oh, I made a mistake. I got to do this one. What the hell? So anyways, whatever. So this video is basically just for education purposes only. I didn't mention any names because, you know, I'm not that guy. So I will defend my shop and I will call you out. I will say your name. But you've already been called out, so we're going to let it rest as that. And it's okay. Do what you got to do, you know. Less than 6 months of experience. Well, I wish you good luck, and hopefully you can do better if you can take and swallow your pride and your ego and actually be willing to learn instead of everything else. So, I mean, multiple people have told you to fix your equipment and stop using bird slug elements for your propping device under meters, but it is what it is. I don't know. So anyhow, guys, Ranger 618, nice radios, discontinued. They didn't make many of them because they had a lot of display problems. That was the primary reason why they quit doing it. They were hoping to make it something special. It's nothing more than just a 2950 board. That's all it really is. It's just a 2950 board on the inside, really is all it is. Nice radio, just the cosmetics. They were trying to do something different, bring something new to the market, which was cool. They should have kept it going. But they had a lot of problems because of the touchscreen display and the regulator. The way the regulator is mounted on the back of that board, not good. And let me point that out to you. Hang on a second. Let me see. Let me see. Where are you? Right here. Okay. Let me back this up. Back up a little bit more.
Somebody decided to hack that all.
There you go. So this is what happens. See the discoloration, the burn mark? So this board was no good. And the way the regulator was mounted, that was an engineering problem. They should have never had it mounted to the board. You should always mount your regulator to a heat sink or to the chassis that can absorb that and dissipate the heat in a proper manner. Okay. Never should you have done this, but that is a factory problem. And due to these reasons, this is why the boards would fail. And this is why they took the radio off the market, because of the whole display problem. They had several come back after a period of time for those reasons, and people were complaining, and they took it off the market. Had they just moved this to the chassis and done something different to run a nice harness, nice and neat along the way to take care of this matter, then these radios would still be on the market probably, but or at least a while longer. But they didn't do it that way. And the other problem was you're switching power supplies. Switching power supplies have failed over time because there's really no protection inside these switching power supplies. They've got some protection, but not enough to speak of. When they go, they go. I am a firm believer of the old, robust, heavy-duty, your linear type power supplies, well-regulated power supplies. I'd rather have those. Would it make the physical weight heavier? Sure, but I'd rather have that kind of power supply than I would a switching power supply, because I know they're more rugged and they could take more and they'll last longer. For example, I'm still using the same power supplies I've had probably for, 18 years, 19 years now. So yeah, almost 20 years I've got 60 amp Astron power supplies, and they're still rugged. The damn things last. It's a workhorse. These switching power supplies would never last that long. All the radios that I test on, different wattages and this, that, and the other, no way would this thing have lasted that long. So anyway, these are great radios outside of just a couple engineering defects. No big deal, whatever, but the fact of the matter is that, again, this came in for the display problem. We fixed that and put the coils back where they belong and fixed a couple of wires on the control for the Clarifier and removed one jumper that we saw. Nothing else was touched, as you can see in the video. Nothing was fluxed and modified and scraped up and burnt and all the garbage you've seen on the photos I showed you from somebody else who posted. If anybody wants to learn how to use a test equipment properly or wants to learn how to do electronics, don't hesitate to call. There's many shops around besides me who would be willing to help you, because again, the hobby is meant for everybody. We have more than enough room in the world to have many more technicians if you're willing to learn for the right reasons. If you're only out there to do it for the wrong reasons because you want to make a quick dollar because you're living off a system, or you're just trying to make extra money in the pocket and you don't care, and you want to bounce from truck stop to truck stop, and that's not the way to do business, guys. Even if you're not even into business, just for the hobby to make a couple dollars, that's cool too, but you don't have to take and cob job radio. So again, this video is for educational purposes. It's not to bash, it's just to point out some facts, but at the same time, try to re-educate the ones who are involved. At the same time, try to educate everybody out there to keep your eyes open and aware. So when you're watching certain things on YouTube or Facebook, be careful, especially on Facebook. If someone does not have a legitimate web page, that's a red flag. If they're only running off just Facebook, it's a big red flag. They should have a business page on Google that's been verified. They should have a website set up. YouTube is always a benefit if you got a YouTube channel, because everybody goes there as well. It's an easy, quick search to find different material or information that you need, but that's always a good thing. But the biggest thing is a Google business, verified, and also your website. You must have those two things to really show legitimacy of what you're doing. So if you do not have, it's not a bad thing if you don't, but it's not a good thing either, because you want to see credentials. That's what it comes down to. You want to see credentials. You want to make sure, wherever you send your equipment, that you're going to get it back, number one. And number two, it's going to come back in good working condition. It's electronics, guys. Sometimes electronics, you get it working good today and could last you a week, a month, a year, and all of a sudden something else goes. It's electronics. The old saying goes, built by man, break by man, fixed by man, period. Okay? So not a big deal. Electronics are what they are. However, again, this video was meant for educational purpose for all the above, and hopefully people can learn something from this as well, and also be able to really think and pay attention when you're watching videos, so you don't send your radio to somebody who claims something they are not. I don't want to see your radios get damaged. Ask people, guys. I got people ask me all the time. On an average, probably, 4 or 5 times a day, they'll ask me, do you clip limiters? No. Do you spread coils? No. Do you modify clarifiers? No. Do you put channels in certain radios? No. I used to, and I might once in a while on certain people to help them out, provided how they want it done. If we can keep it professional, like say on a Cobra 2000, use the phono jack, but keep the phono jack connected, nice and neat inside, and tidy, okay? So if you ever want to put it back to original, you can. I am all about originality, period. No exceptions, okay? Because I do not believe in turning your radio into Swiss cheese. You should never drill holes in radios, ever. That's the only time I would help somebody. Otherwise, I try to deter them from that, because, again, keep it original. I've got a Washington base station, Uterton, Washington, like brand spanking new, never touched. Just a line tuned by me and put right back into the box. I have a brand spanking new President Madison with a Rolodex flip clock that still works. Brand spanking new. We all know how old that radio is. Brand new Madison base station. Matching speaker, microphone, mounting hardware, everything inside the box. A line tune put right back to the box. That's the way I like to see things. Nice and neat and pretty. If it's got holes, it will not take a place or position on my shack and anywhere is in my radio room. I will not even display it, because that to me is an insult and a disgrace to good equipment that somebody once built that looked pristine, and someone's got stickers or scraped up bezels or holes everywhere or switches everywhere. That's not the way to do things at all. So anyway, if you guys want to learn, cool. If you don't, that's cool. Thumbs up on the video if you like. Make some comments if you wish. If you're going to get on here and bash, don't bother to waste your time, because you'll just be banned from that. I'm not going to deal with it, okay? So again, this is to help people look for certain things, educate people, and to also get more people involved with the hobby, but get you on a good positive path, not to deal with all the riffraff and all the trolls. Stay away from people like that. If you're in certain groups, look for groups that are actually clean groups with respect. If you do not have certain groups like that and you're involved with other groups that have all kinds of nonsense and just petty stuff that are kindergarten class, if that's the group you're going to stay in, then that's the group that you're going to become more of those immature people. Get yourself involved with good groups, good people, and people that got wealth of knowledge that are willing to help you. I had a gentleman call me today, asked me how to test capacitors. He did not want to have to ship it out because tight on income, for one. He's on a fixed income. And two, he didn't want to have to take and ship it all the way up here. It's heavier than hell. It would have cost a fortune. And I explained to him over the phone what to do. Real simple. That's the kind of people you want to be around. Someone who's honest, good integrity, willing to help you, and not charge you. That's what my shop is all about. We don't need to charge you over the phone. No bench fee, no hourly rate. You need help, I will gladly help you. I'll get you the information you need. I don't even charge people. If they need schematics, I'll gladly email you copies of schematics for free. because that's what you're supposed to do as a good technician. Okay, so again, 37 plus years, not my first day at a rodeo, guys. Anyway, everyone have a great night, and hopefully everybody can take and enjoy the video and get something out of this. And if you do have these radios, just be mindful of the regulator. If you can mount that up to the chassis somewhere and run some leads nice and neat back, you'll be good to go. Do not spread coils. Do not modify clarifiers on sideband radios. Stay tuned for another video that I'll have uploaded here momentarily as well as to the Yaesu 1000. Somebody installed a processor and an HF radio that already has a processor from the manufacturer. Why would you do that? So stay tuned for that video. You'll get a kick out of it for sure on what we found inside that radio. And you'll get two parts of that radio as well. One showing what we found. The customer wants taken care of and fixed because he doesn't understand why it's so garbly. Well, I can tell you why it's garbly, because somebody put a processor kit inside the damn radio, and you'll soon see when you watch the video there. So then we'll do a video afterwards when it's all fixed as well. So, and we're just about ready, hopefully soon here, to get both cameras set up so you guys can actually see working progress live on YouTube. I can't wait for that, so we can actually shut many people up who like to do stupid things and turn around and say, oh no, it was that shop. Well, guess what? You're about to see all kinds of my knowledge and whatnot put right there live to the get-go, which is great. I'm excited about that. So hopefully we'll get this up and going very soon. And I don't know, hopefully within the next week, it should be finalized with the software. And you'll be able to see both the view of the equipment and the view of the radio while I'm working onto it, step by step. And then you'll be able to see the excellent quality of work that I have. And you'll see that there's no slop, and you'll see the wealth of knowledge on how to use everything. And it's nothing other than just to show people what skills I have and to help educate others in case they're in the same process trying to work on a radio that they want to learn, or at least just fix your own because you don't want to send it out, or else you can't afford to send it out, but you just want to fix maybe your own stuff. That's cool. So that's what these videos are for, is to help others be able to do the same thing and not have to worry about sending your radio off to some riffraff and getting it damaged. Everybody have a great night. DX Radio Shop, and we'll talk to you soon. And like I said, stay tuned for the Yaesu 1000. You'll enjoy that video.